Industries that are hot, sectors set to outperform the market. That's what's here in Zacks Industry Rank Analysis. Going to go over another hot industry now with Charles Rotblood, our senior market analyst for Zacks.com, who puts this report together for us. And this is kind of an exciting industry, despite the fact that there has been some negative news surrounding the industry of late. But on your radar this week is the food industry, or food sector, however you want to refer to it. So I'll ask you the obvious question right out of the gate. Is there any negativism that you've been able to spot on your radar pertaining to this industry in light of this peanut scare going on?
There really hasn't, and obviously the peanut scare is a big issue, but anyone can go to a grocery store, see all the peanut jars still on the shelves. And actually our food analyst, Steve Rawson, came out not too long ago and said it really shouldn't have any impact on investing within the food group. Obviously for consumers, a very real safety issue, but it seems like it's fairly well contained. And actually one of the companies I talk about, Hershey's, they came out actually several weeks ago and said, we're not buying any peanuts from this company that had all the problems.
Yeah, I did see that on their site because I was picking up a candy bar that they make. So I wanted to double check it before I...
Only because it has that retinol, whatever that stuff is, that's supposed to be good for you, right?
Absolutely.
Not for the pure taste of chocolate.
No, it's the energy that I get from
exactly.
it. Right. I need more energy here. So basically there's good news coming out of this group, huh? Is that what you're telling us?
There is. And actually, as we recorded this morning on Wednesday, February 4th, we did have some lowered guidance from Kraft, some lowered guidance from Sara Lee, but that seems to be the exception based on what we're seeing. We actually had some very good earnings over the past couple of weeks. Hershey's came out with some strong numbers. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters came out with some strong numbers. ADM reported yesterday, said they actually had an increase in sales, were able to push through higher commodity costs. And even a smaller company we have on here, J&J Snack Foods. Evidently, despite the recession, people still want to have their snacks.
So what about all of the consolidation going on in this group? And there has been some. You think that's going to take a negative toll on the bottom line here eventually?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of times when you're looking at consolidation, you're really looking at companies trying to actually get market share. And certainly within the food industry, anybody who's worked in the grocery industry or is familiar with it knows shelf space is everything. And obviously, the bigger the player you are, the more power you can exert as to not only how much shelf space you get, but do you get the key shelf space, meaning being right at eye level versus having a small section at the very bottom shelf. So it definitely helps. Could see some more consolidation. It would be a good thing for the markets to see some deals getting done. But I think in terms of consolidation, it really depends on financing and what debt deals companies can get done to actually do those deals.
Yeah, are we going to see some more M&A activity, you think, in this industry between now and the end of the year?
I think it depends on a credit crunch, and I think if we start seeing the corporate bond markets loosen up, we will see some movements on here. You're not looking in this industry at the cash-rich companies you see in other industries. Oil is a good example. But anything's possible. I think right now when we look at mergers across the board, it's really slow, and it has to do with the debt market. So there will be some sectors where we will see some activity going on, particularly pharmaceutical, where you have a lot of cash-rich companies. Going back to oil, Exxon has a huge balance sheet. There's a lot of discussion about what they'll do with all their cash. I think, but for overall, when you look at mergers and not just restricting it to the food industry, it really depends on the debt markets and the ability of corporations to float debt to get deals done.
So if we see any, it'll be selective at best.
Absolutely.
In the beginning. Well, snacks are selling. Candy is selling. Coffee's not doing so badly either, you tell us.
It's not. And Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, I single them out. It's very interesting because people kind of think of them as being a traditional coffee company. But they've been selling these coffee brewers, the Keurig coffee brewers. And for people who haven't seen them, it's basically an all-encompassing coffee machine. There's no mess. Your water's in there. And to brew a cup of coffee, you simply throw one of these little K-cup portion packs in there.
I've seen those.
I don't drink coffee. A friend of mine has it, loved it, sold my wife on the machine probably within 5 minutes. It's really helping their sales because what's happening is they're basically selling the brewers themselves at cost, but then they get the recurring revenues from the coffee packs. It's hurting their margins a little bit, but obviously you're looking at a larger and larger customer base, and that's going to provide a lot of growth going forward, and certainly enough for them to raise their guidance for the rest of fiscal 2009.
All right, pretty interesting. Do you own any of the stocks that we talked about?
No, I do not.
All right, you can read all about it in Charles' latest industry rank analysis, and he even goes out of his way to talk about a commodities company that you'll want to know more about as well. To do that, go to Zacks.com, scroll down the home page till you get to the industry rank headline. Click on it. It'll take you right to this piece that'll be right hot off the presses by the time you get to it. With Charles Rotblatt, I'm Terry Ruffalo.